Testing. Okay.
All right, I'm going to call the meeting of the Emery Unified School District Board. And at this time, could we have a roll call, please?
Member Collins-Rogers.
Present.
Member Merriam.
Here.
Member Pats.
Here.
President Affel.
Present.
And Member Ash will be absent tonight.
Okay. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Do we have any public comment here tonight on items not on our agenda? All right, seeing none. Reports. Do we have an ETA report? Good evening, Mr. Davis.
Okay, I don't think the mic's on.
Press mute.
Press the mute button.
Hold that mute down.
There we go. Okay. Like I said, Mark Davis, President ETA. Tonight I have to report that things are in process. We have given the district a list of items, and they are working on it. We're trying to be understanding that there's a lot to do, and things are getting chipped off. So we're trying to go with the flow here. Other than that, kids are in class, teachers are trying to get lists in of anything that they need, and that's it. So it's a short list, a good list, and the rest is yours.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Davis. Can I ask the superintendent to circulate the list of board members so we can see what you're working on?
We can. There's not one list. There's actually multiple lists. There's a list from Mr. Davis that was from ETA. We could circulate that to the board, sure. If I assume that's what you're referring to.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. All right. Do we have a CSEA report? Superintendent's report?
Thank you. Good evening. As Mr. Davis was sharing, and related to what Mr. Davis was sharing, the transition in the ECCO is a lot of work. It's long. We're getting to the things that teachers are asking for. There are a lot of requests, and we've gotten additional shelving and furniture in the classrooms for teachers. Some more of that came in today, so we're happy to get that in because we know teachers wanted more shelving in their classrooms. It is difficult for our 2 IT techs, but they're going from room to room and sometimes spending up to an hour per classroom, but they're making sure everything's working, getting everything connected, the touch screens, the printers, the phones, and the document cameras, I think most recently. In regards to my update, I want to share, and in regards to this transition as we're moving in, there is a lot of training that is now being scheduled with the different companies that are involved in a new facility. So we need to understand how to use the alarm system. We need to understand how to program the gates. We need to understand, for safety reasons, the intercom system. We need to understand the camera system, HVAC, all kinds of different systems that are new to all of us. And so we have all of that happening. We have about probably 7 to 10 trainings, I think, that Swinnerton or that Turner has helped us schedule for the next 2 weeks. So we're continuing with that as we continue with getting keys to the right people and figuring out the key system. And so that's part of my update as well for you tonight. And lastly, I just want to add, regarding safety of the campus, we are taking a very thorough review with Swinnerton and the architect to look at the different aspects of the campus. I know the teachers received draft evacuation plans, where they should go with their students. I know we have the principal at the high school has reported there's been a very large drop in tardies, so in regards to safety, she's very happy to see that the structure of the campus and the way it's laid out is helping her get kids into, and the new bell system, helping kids get in the class very expediently. She reported only having 1 or 2 students who ended up in the Friday after school time that they have to serve if they're late to class. And we're excited that more spaces are now opening up with the lining of the basketball courts that we have behind us here to provide more healthy activities and space for the students. However, we are going to review all aspects of the campus so we can go ahead and, even though the campus has passed inspection, we want to make sure that we determine are there things we can add to the campus to increase the safety. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, in terms of a board president report, I just want to say how much I appreciate the fact that the teachers came out last time and provided us with their list of very serious concerns and took the time out of their, very stressful day and evening to, see that their concerns were addressed and that children's safety was taken care of. And I think we, I don't want to revisit the prior board meeting, but we know that we did not, we weren't in a position to take action on a board action, but the staff did take action, and the construction crew and Swinnerton took action, and all I know is that I was very proud of the teachers and the staff and the way that the opening days at school went, and people pulled it together, and it was smooth from the student and the family perspective, and we will continue to listen to your concerns and address them, so I'm glad that you have put together a list, and I look forward to seeing that. I know that every single student I've talked to and their parents have expressed excitement about the new facility and the possibilities here, and so I think the teachers are doing something right to keep start the year off on a positive note. So I want to thank you for that. We're now on to the consent calendar. Are there any items that board members wish to pull? And I know I need to pull item, well, first of all, I guess we need to pull item 5.2, given member Ash's absence. And I need to pull item 5.3 to abstain from a vote on that. And I know that we want to pull item 5.4 and have a report on personnel actions from Ms. Harrell. So that leaves warrants. Does anybody need to pull warrants? No. Seeing none, do we have a motion on the warrants item?
So moved.
I'll second. Roll call, please.
You second?
Yes, I seconded.
Member Collins-Rogers?
Yes.
Member Miriam?
Yes.
Member Pats?
Yes.
President Affel?
Yes, the warrants are approved by a unanimous vote. On item 5.3, the minutes of the regular meeting of August 10th, I was absent, so I will need to abstain from this. Is there any discussion on the item? Seeing none, is there a motion on the item?
I'll motion.
Second? Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, roll call, please.
Member Collins-Rogers?
Yes.
Member Miriam?
Yes.
Member Pats?
Yes.
President Affel?
Abstain. The motion passes 3 to votes in favor and 1 abstention, and 1 absent. Personnel actions. Ms. Harrell, please.
Good evening, Board President, Board members, and members of the public. Tonight, I would like to introduce the three employees that we are asking the Board to approve their hire for this evening. And I will begin by introducing Dr. Mila Kell. Dr. Kell has over 30 years of K-12 education experience. Her U.S. educational career began as a teacher in the Chicago Public Schools. Her administrative career began in Chicago as the citywide mathematics facilitator and most recently in Petaluma as the Director of Curriculum and Instruction. We are also asking you to approve the hire of Ms. Jennifer Mayer. Ms. Mayer began in Emory as a substitute teacher. She's worked as a special education teacher for 1 year, and she has now been hired as the middle school English teacher. Ms. June Melchior, who has over 15 years of teaching experience in private and public schools. Ms. Melchior is a musician who likes to make visual representations to support learning. And with us tonight is Dr. Kell.
Welcome, Dr. Kell, and yeah, please tell us a little about your background and your interest in working with us.
Good evening, members of the board. It's an honor to be introduced here today. My background, I'm originally from Ukraine. The majority of my educational experience comes from Chicago. I worked for Chicago Public Schools for 22 years. I worked as a teacher for many years and then as an administrator. And for the last 2 years, I moved to California and worked in Sonoma County in Petaluma. I am very excited to join the district because it is a diverse district. It's a district where I feel that my skill set will be well used to help teachers and to support all the faculty in helping students to become competent and happy citizens in this 21st century. I feel that all kids can learn, and they will learn if adults provide educational opportunities for these students. And this is why I'm here. I hope to assist all the teachers and to support them in the district in providing these first-class educational opportunities to our students. And I thank you for the honor of being introduced today.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. Welcome. And Ms. Kell is the only one of the new hires that's with us tonight?
That can be with us
Okay.
tonight.
All right, thank you. Any questions for Ms. Harrell? Do we have a motion?
Can we have board discussion first?
Okay, please.
So I want to welcome Dr. Kell to the district, and I wish you nothing but success. When your position was created, I didn't support it. I feel like we have too many administrators, and you'll hear that again this evening if you stick around. So I want to be very clear as I vote no on this. It is not a reflection on my opinion on you. It's a reflection on my opinion of the administration. I feel it would be hypocritical of me to fill a position that I don't think should have been created in the first place. So I just want to clarify that. And I do sincerely welcome you. I did my due diligence, and I think you do seem like a good fit for the district, and so I do welcome you, and I do hope we have some success. But again, I'll save my comments on admin later on, but I just wanted to clarify that. So.
Other discussion?
No.
Do we have a motion?
Can we split out the three applicants?
Oh, certainly. So
I'd move to approve the two teaching positions.
All right. I'll second. Can we have a roll call on the appointment of Jennifer Mayer and June Melchior?
Member Collins Rogers?
Yes.
Member Merriam?
Yes.
Member Pats?
Yes.
President Nafel?
Yes. Do we have a motion on the appointment of Lyudmila Kell?
So moved.
Do we have a second? I'll second. Roll call, please.
Member Collins Rogers?
Yes.
Member Merriam?
Yes.
Member Pats?
No.
President Nafel?
Yes. The first motion for the appointment of two teachers passes unanimously, 4-0, with one absent, and The motion on the appointment of Dr. Kell passes 3 votes to 1, with 1 absent. So welcome to the district, and we look forward to your service. Now we're on to our discussion items. The first item up, 6.1, is proposed approval of a contract with UCLA. Dr. Rubio?
Yes, Ms. Harrell, could you go ahead and elaborate for us? The purpose of this item, thank you, is to allow the placement of in EUSD schools of UCLA students who are enrolled in the teacher education program. Ms. Harrell?
This is an agreement that is similar to many others that we have with Cal State East Bay, San Francisco State, et cetera. We have a teacher who is fully credentialed, who is adding another credential onto their current credential, and they need to enroll in an internship program in order to do that, and they're working with UCLA.
Long distance, online? or-
Online.
Okay. All right. Any questions for Ms. Harrell?
Was this for a high school teacher, middle school teacher, elementary?
Elementary.
All right. Any public comment on this item? Discussion? All right. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right. Roll call, please.
Member Collins Rogers?
Yes.
Member Merriam?
Yes.
Member Pats?
Yes.
President Affel?
Yes. The item passes 4-0.
Thank you.
And we are on to item 6.2. Would you like to introduce that, Superintendent?
Yes, thank you. This item's coming to you this evening to ask for your approval for a behavioral health manager position. To give the board some background, and I think Ms. Dunn and Ms. LaPant are available also for this item. This is work that we've been trying to hold for a number of years. Alameda County has been giving us additional funding for a number of years. However, the county came out to see us just in the beginning of summer, and they're fairly explicit that, like their other districts, they really expect us to structure their money more formally into a position. And I had the keen sense, I think, that if we didn't do so, that they were not going to continue to provide us with this funding. So in a collaborative agreement, we wanted to bring this to you so we could have a position here, just like all the other districts that are supported in their mental health work and supported in a great way by Alameda County regarding the $91,000 that they're offering to help us regarding this position. And if I got any of that wrong, Ms. Dunn, I'm sure, is that okay? Okay. You can elaborate to our questions. So this is coming to you this evening because we have an opportunity, again, as we have had for a number of years with Alameda County, to continue their great sponsorship and funding, and we really don't want to lose that funding, and we need the help in this area.
And this position that you're asking us to approve is for just 1 year because it is contingent on annual funding?
It would be 1 year because it is contingent on funding. I anticipate that the county will continue to fund it, but yes.
So if we did approve it, then we'd see this again next year on an annual basis?
I think so. Ms. Dunn, you want to elaborate?
Good evening. The funding has been given to us for the last 6 years. We have a 2-year extension on it, and it's depending on, the position is dependent on the funding, but I do not believe that there will be less funds coming to all of the schools simply because they're trying to expand mental health, behavioral health in all of the schools, and they don't want to, and they want to, their idea in terms of the deliverables is to expand what we're doing, to integrate it into the system, and to make sure that we have a collaborative effort similar to other school districts. So I doubt very seriously if they're going to lose the money. If they do, they'll let us know. It's similar to 2P funding. It's coming some from the federal, some from Measure A, some from Prop 63, but it is out of Alameda County Behavioral Health and Mental Health under Keith Carson's.
Okay. The position is listed as a 1-year position.
It's 1 year,
So-
yes, and we will renew it, and I know the funds will be there.
Okay, so with that said, then we will be able to assess how it's working.
Most
in a
definitely.
year, and you can report on that if we approved it.
We report on it to Alameda County every year. We have to send them a report in order to get additional funding for the next year.
Yeah, I'm more concerned about it coming back to the board, for the
Oh,
board
yeah.
to see how
Oh,
it's
yeah,
working.
and we can do
So
that also.
In that sense, I like that it's a one-year proposal. On the other hand, it may reduce the attractiveness of the position if it's just listed as a one-year proposal, but I assume that you can communicate to candidates
Mhm.
it's connected to funding that, and give them the same spiel you just gave us, that you think it's going to continue or increase.
And in this kind of work, people are kind of used to the fact that things are connected to funding.
The specific position, it's to, can you tell me a little bit more about what this person would be adding and bringing to the district? What kinds of issues that we anticipate they would deal with?
One of the things that Alameda County came to us and talked to us about is we've been using the funds to increase our impact of mental and behavioral health for the school district. We haven't done as succinctly as they would like it to. They wanted to be housed in one particular person. We've been using various agencies, ourselves, and other people. We even had a couple of LCSWs, but they didn't stay long enough in order to keep the program going in a way that would increase what we'd like to do in terms of our mental and behavioral health. So this person would not only take care of the certificated coaches for PBIS and equity, they would also take care of the counseling interns. They would have some direct service to our students. But a lot of it is combining what we had in various other places so that they could work together to make sure this was a district-wide approach. And it's one that the county suggested that we do. So we pulled their job description and looked at it and came up with, Ms. Lauren LaPlante came up with working on this so that we could have a job description that they would approve and fund, which was what this was. And in terms of also reaching out to families to help support some of the things that we were doing in school, because it does us no good to have PBIS support or Second Step, or even looking at interns if we don't have family connection to what that is and teaching them what they need to do with it. So that person those are only some of the duties we would like them to do. Or take care of chicks is another one. A lot of the information we get from how students are feeling, how families are feeling, come from that kind of report, and we need to get that consistently back online, and what the county wants to have done too. So those are
Chicks
just some
being
of
the
them.
California
California
Healthy Kids Survey.
I'm sorry, I keep forgetting.
Yeah.
Some people don't know what that is. California Healthy Kids Survey.
And so you're saying with this person, we could reinstitute that,
Reinstitute it.
which is a way to collect data from
Most
our
definitely.
school community on how they
Mhm.
feel safe, connected, supported by the school.
Most definitely.
I guess more specifically, is this person someone who's going to be working with students who are suffering from some form of trauma, or ADHD, or ADD, or drugs or alcohol issues, or any and all? Is it high school? Is it elementary?
It's
Is it
across the district, and all of the things that you've talked about. Let me get some specifics from Ms. LaPlante, who will be working integrally with that person.
So the real intent behind the position is really to create a sustainable structure. And so instead of having piecemeal services or things that come and go, the primary focus is to set up a structure that regardless will function. And so it will be a lot of systems work. And what the county wants is for us to see more systems level change in terms of kind of behavioral RTI, where's our tier 1, and then moving on up. So this position will be supervising people providing direct services, and may in fact do that, but that's not the primary role. So for example, in the past we had a family resource center. It was very successful. It opened, it closed. This person would be part of trying to reopen that and have it be sustainably open. It would support the PBIS measure, as in the LCAP, And it's a district level position. It's
Got
not
it.
focused on a certain grade level.
That's very helpful. And remind us who's on the team that then they are supervising that are implementing the services directly?
We have 3 counseling intern positions.
And are you part of that in addition to the, I mean, you're providing some.
Yeah, so our
wellness service.
behavioral health team right now, we have partnerships with a Better Way agency that provides Medi-Cal services for K-8. We have Newbridge Foundation, which provides drug and alcohol counseling for 7th through 12th. We have counseling interns and psych interns, which provide both special ed services and general ed services for students. We have crisis support services. So we have quite a number of people we're managing. But this position would assist with kind of having systems, procedures in place that everyone can follow, be able to maintain and support those partnerships with outside agencies, which Juliet and I have been doing to the best of our ability, but to really be able to have it be some procedures where the plan is not call Juliet or call Lauren, but we have real clear plans in place in terms of responding to both like intense crisis at really high tier 3 level, but also working with the coaches on behavioral and academic RTI and how are we doing from the ground up.
Okay, that's helpful. Other questions for Ms. Dunn or Ms. LaPlante?
Can you clarify the MAW funding for me? I always forget. Is that the one that's the unrestricted time survey, or is this the reimbursement for services that you have to have a committee allocate?
MAW is the unrestricted time survey, and they changed how it is. So we had a lot of MAW funds from the past when it was the MAW weeks, and now it's called random moment time survey.
Yeah.
So it doesn't generate the same amount of funds as it used to, but we're still participating in that and generating funds each year.
And so we're generating $40,000 in MAW funds?
The monies that we received before was $250,000. We generated $15,000 last year. We're going to hopefully get some more in there now that we have some people doing it, and we're using that for right now.
Okay, so the 40,000 is really the general fund,
It's
offset
the
by some of the MAW.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
probably offset a great deal for the first couple of years after $250,000, but yeah.
Well, you just said 15.
15 this year, added on to the 250 we already had in there.
So we still have that allocation?
I believe so.
Huh. That's interesting.
It was deferred, and we got a big payout all at once because they didn't pay for many years.
Right, well, which was another of my concern, is they sometimes shut that tap off very quickly.
Yeah.
Or pay 10 cents on the dollar. So, okay, I guess I heard you talk about the coordination thing. I'm just not differentiating. I'm always challenged when we want to add in new admin, and particularly a large set of costs. My understanding is you're the director of wellness, and we have a director of special ed, and so there's not enough time for the two of you for a school of 700 to collaborate these services?
I'm also the director of food service. I'm also the after-school person who takes care of the after-school. I also take care of, I've taken care of the move. I'm also working on some of the safety issues and creating that committee. It's not a question of taking care of just that. And it is a wide program that we have several people doing. What I am trying to do and what I'm trying to help the school district do and what this county has asked us to do is create increased services.
Right.
And utilizing a person who knows how to do those increased services. And I'm not saying that. And I also take care of the school-based health center. So need a little help. And I think they would be able to do that. And they also will take care of the deliverable of creating that type of service that will go over a certain amount of time.
The other issue with this position is credentialing. So this is requiring a licensed clinical social worker whose area of expertise is in building and sustaining systems and looking at things from a holistic perspective with that particular license. And we're very purposeful in wanting that license.
Will they manage the 2 behavior assistants we approved last time?
The 2 counseling interns.
Just the counseling, but not the behavior assistants?
And the behavior assistants. Yeah, the PBI.
I'm not clear what are the behavior
We
assistants?
contract out behavior assistants. They come in as part of the SPED program.
No,
No,
they would not.
They would fall under. Okay. Will they be managing the psychologist?
No.
No.
I supervise the psych interns, but we'll still all be on the same team. We'll be having our meetings that we normally have with that person,
Yeah.
with all of us together.
I just always struggle with a school of 700 kids, how we have 10 administrators and, okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Do we have any public comment on this item? Okay, any discussion? Do we have a motion?
So moved.
I'm happy to second motion. Can we have a roll call, please?
Member Collins-Rogers?
Yes.
Member Marion?
Yes.
Member Pats?
Yes.
President Affelt?
Yes. The motion passes 4-0 with one absent. We are on to, thank you, Ms. Harrell, I'm sorry, Ms. Dunn and Ms. LaPlante for supplementing the presentation there. We're on to item 6.3. Superintendent? You wanna
Yes,
introduce?
good evening. We have Ms. Dora Sue here this evening to present to us requesting the approval of the 2015-2016 fiscal year unaudited actuals.
Good evening. We're going to look at, we're going to review the 15-16 unaudited actual tonight. And the closing is pretty well based on the last year P2 ADA, which is 669. And on this slide, you're going to see the breakdown of the different sources of income for last year. And you can see is a total income of $11 million. And this slide is showing you the expenditures for 15-16, and then it breaks it down into certificated salary, classified salary, benefits, materials and supplies and services, and also indirect costs. And as you can see, the total expenditure for last year is $9.5 million, or $9.8 million. And then the bottom part where it said transfer out the $81,000 is the general fund contribution to the food services.
So on that, just be clear, number one, we had a $1 million surplus or excess this past year, right? That's what this shows? Excess of revenues over expenditures.
Oh, that will be showing on the next slide.
Yeah.
Okay,
right.
yes.
Okay. I just
All right.
wanted to...
Because this slide is going to only showing you the expenditure. The previous slide, we look at the income. So now we're looking at the expenditures.
Okay. Well, you were jumping to the transfer out, so that's where I was going to that. Go ahead.
Okay.
Well, can we talk about the transfer out as well?
Yeah, because that was the second part of my question was the general fund paid $81,000 for the food service.
That's right.
And what struck me about that is that seems significantly lower than what that figure has been in years past. So sometimes it's been $100 or $200 or more $1,000, if I'm not mistaken. So
what I have find out when I doing the closing, pretty well it seems like last year, 15-16, the sales, or would I say the reimbursement that we got from the federal and also from the state,
is more than the year before. That is mainly the reason why we are seeing less contribution to the food services program.
Yeah, and on what order of magnitude, if you remember, that it was more, and why was it more? Did we do something different, or did the governments fund the food differently? Because I'm not aware that either the state or the federal really increased their contribution.
From the numbers that I'm seeing, I would say at least there is an increase of 15 to 20% on the reimbursement money. And at the same time, because now Julia Dunn is picking up the after-school program. She's the after-school program coordinator. So part of her salaries, normally under food services, are being transferred out to the after-school program. And that helped out the food services program too.
Okay.
But you're right. The $1 million that you can see under the total column, the $1 million excess of revenue over expenditures, yes, for 15-16, we do have the excess of $1 million in the general fund. And then the contributions, we are going to go over that in more detail in the slide later on.
Okay.
And then the fund balance. So you can see the beginning fund balance as of July 1st, and now the ending fund balance for as of June 30th, 2016. So we do have a $3 million ending fund balance in general fund as of June 30th, 2016. And it breaks down into the different components of the ending fund balance. But again, the 4% minimum required reserve, we are meeting that minimum required reserve. The two programs that require the general fund contributions, again, is special ed and also the maintenance program. And they come to $732,000. Again, the $81,000 is the general fund to food services. So these are the ending fund balance for the different fund at the time when we closed out the book June 30th, 2016. And they are all listed right here. So any questions on the closing for last year? I believe the 4 years that I've been with Emery, this is the best number that I have seen so far during the 4 years. And again, I have to stress that we come to an ending balance of over $3 million in general fund.
And what do you attribute the improvement in the surplus and the ending fund balance to?
Part of it, I'm going to say, because of the additional funding from the state under the LCFF formula. And also there is the one-time discretionary money that given from the state also to the school districts. And also another thing is I believe the administration has been very careful on controlling the expenditures that we put through last year. And that helped the cash flow of the school district.
Okay. Other questions for Ms. Sue?
You cited an ADA of 669, I want to say. What was our enrollment at that time?
On the CBAD is enrollment of 700.
Okay. So that still puts us at that 95% attendance.
I believe we are beyond 92%, is that? If anybody get a calculator. So the enrollment at that time is 700, and the ADA is 669.
Uh, 95.57%.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I really worry about submitting a budget worth 95% attendance rates. I mean, That's all I've heard is we have attendance challenges. I remember 2 years ago during my election campaign, that was one of the big questions, was the attendance rate at the school. And I know it's been a big push for why we're building the health center on campus, because we have such an attendance challenge. And so I just get very nervous. 95% attendance is almost what every school would call perfect attendance. And so I know we're crowded, and I know we had a lot of kids last year, but I worry about that number. I think I've mentioned this before, and I've been told we had challenges with the way we were taking attendance. So as we send in, what's our exposure with reporting that high of attendance?
I don't think there's exposure by reporting a high percentage of attendance. I think there's exposure if a school district is not being accountable and having a high level of integrity in their practices. We have gone back, and we went back in particular after you had requested or made a comment, and we made sure, and the secretaries made sure that they were catching up with their attendance and the data was correct, and it was a lot of work, but they did it. And one of our outside consultants who helps us make sure we're grabbing the data and getting it into CalPads, into the system, noticed the same and had some questions because there were a few months that were off, and we could see those months that were off because they were reporting 99-ish%, so we knew something was wrong. So we believe that the numbers were corrected and that we have seen students and families doing a better job of getting to school. So I don't think we have exposure by that particular percentage, but and I do believe that we have really cleaned up our practices, and one of the reasons we changed to a new SIS was to make sure we have a very simple system for everyone involved. But I appreciate it. It's a good question.
Okay, so we're going to be reporting this out, and that's going to be fine. We have the backup to verify that we were at 95% attendance.
That's correct.
That's impressive and just surprising.
And actually, in a couple months, when I'm going to present the first interim budget for the school district, we are going to look into much detail into the enrollment and ADA data.
Okay.
And actually, from my knowledge, I know average ADA percentage for the school district between the range of 92 to 94%. So actually for Emory, with 95% ADA compared to the enrollment, we are doing the average, actually on the better side of the average.
There's just a lot of things that correlate with attendance data, and we don't have that in Emory, so it's great. I think it's wonderful we have 95% attendance. That usually goes with high test scores. It usually goes with different socioeconomic demographics, and so I'm just, it's just an unusual thing. It's something that we should be more positive about if that's our attendance rate.
Okay, and I will put a note in my head to make sure when I'm going to present the first interim, I will spend maybe more analysis on the enrollment and the ADA data to the board.
Yeah.
Let me see if there's any public comment on this item. Yeah, in terms of discussion on this particular point, I certainly do want to make sure that we're being accurate and reflecting the right figures. But given the superintendent's and the staff's work to make sure that that's accurate, I agree with Member Pats. That is an impressive number. It's above average for the state. And it is, I think, due to the fact that, number one, we are a small school district, and we can keep track of who's not in school today. And I know that, number two, you have put some systems in place to make sure that people are being called and getting letters and things. I know because I've got some. Even it's overkill. Like, we made it, and I still got the letter. It was like, what is it? So people are trying to make sure that the kids are in school, and if they're not in school, there's follow-up to see why not. And it was one of the areas that you were trying to improve because it does have budget implications. For 92% versus 95 or 6%, then our ADA goes down and we get fewer funds. So Definitely make sure we got the right numbers, but 95.6% is really something to be quite positive about.
That's right.
This is, I guess, an action item, right? We need to actually approve the unaudited actuals. Is that right, Superintendent?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, is there any further discussion? Do we have a motion to approve the unaudited actuals? I will move. Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Roll call, please.
Member Collins-Rogers?
Yes.
Member Merriam?
Yes.
Member Pats?
Yes.
President Affo?
Yes. The item passes 4-0 with one absent. We're on to item 6.4. Is this your item as well,
That's right, the GAN
Ms. Sue?
limit.
Proceed.
The GAN limit. Okay, the GAN limit is basically a calculation linking year-to-year changes in expenditures to changes in inflation and ADA, and ECHO requiring the district on and before September 15 of each year, the governing board to adopt a resolution to identify the estimated limit for the current year and the actual limit for the preceding fiscal year. So I would like to have the board to turn to page 3 of the GAN limit calculations. As you can see, the estimated limit for the 16-17 budget year is $9 million. And then the actual GAN limit for 15-16 is 8.6 million. And you can see our amount subject to the limit is 8.5. So we are within the GAN limit for 15-16. So I'm asking the board to adopt the GAN limit resolution.
Okay, any questions for Ms. Sue? And these numbers are numbers you put into a calculator of some sort that populates the form?
The data was keyed into the state software, and these are the sheets that calculated by the software itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we can feel relatively confident. Any questions? Any comment from the public on this item? Any discussion? Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Roll call, please.
Member Collins-Rogers?
Yes.
Member Merriam?
Yes.
Member Pats?
Yes.
President Affo?
Yes. The motion is approved, 4-0 with one absent. On to item 6.5, approval of the resolution, the education protection account.
So we are on to the EPA, which is the Education Protection Account. As you know, that is part of it is going to expire December 2016. And in November, during the election, we're going to have Prop 55, which is the extension of this EPA. And for last year, 15-16, we spent a total of $435,000. And as you can see on this slide, all these expenses are instructional function. So none of the expenses are related to any management or administration. So again, this is need to be posted on our website, but at the same time tonight, I'm asking the board to approve the EPA resolution.
And basically, you've been able to put this amount of expenditures into instruction.
That's right.
And all of it,
Mhm.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions for Ms. Sue? Any public comment on this item? Any discussion? All right, this is a fairly formulaic duty of ours under Proposition 30. Do we have a motion?
So moved?
Second?
Second.
Collins Rogers is seconded. Roll call, please.
Member Collins Rogers?
Yes.
Member Merriam?
Yes.
Member Pats?
Yeah.
President Ethel?
Yes, the motion passes unanimously 4-0 with one absent. That concludes our discussion items. We're on to board reports and announcements. Do we have any board reports or announcements?
Oops, I lost it. So the president of City College, I don't know why she reached out to me, but asked if she could come present at one of our future board meetings. So I'll be working with Ms. Tamery and to get that on the agenda. They asked to come in either October or November. And I think it's great to have a partnership with City College. So I'll
Berkeley
be
City College.
Berkeley City College, yes.
Great.
I think I CC'd you, Ms. Tamery, on that email. Yeah. And I told her I would bring it to the whole board and make sure everybody was comfortable with that. And I didn't think it would be a big sell, but I wanted to be inclusive.
Thanks.
So, yeah.
Okay. Any other reports or announcements? All right, Superintendent, calendar review.
Yes, thank you. I want to announce and let everyone know, if they don't have it on their calendars, that our back-to-school night for both of our school sites is Wednesday, September the 21st, with Emery High School being from 5 to 6 p.m. and the K-8 school being from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Our semi-annual board retreat is this Saturday, September 17th at 9:30 a.m., and our next school board meeting is September 28th at 6 p.m.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, and Ms. Timmery's reminded me to please see the K-8 calendar attachment, which we included because Ms. Lang has different events throughout the year here calendared, so we wanted to go ahead and include that in your board package just as a handy reference so we could look ahead, if you like.
Where is that attachment?
It is it's attached to this item in your board packet, I believe.
Attached to the calendar review?
Yes.
Item? Really? I've never seen an attachment on the calendar item. There it is. Attachment to calendar review. Okay. That's helpful, thanks. All right. With that, the open session...
Sorry.
I'm sorry?
I was going to make a request on the calendar item. Can we get the agenda for the Saturday's meeting early? We made a lot of requests back in June, and I just want to make sure that the agenda reflects, I know we won't get to everything because I think we had a large list, but I'd like to make sure, I'd like to at least have the opportunity to have some, conversation about what's on the agenda.
Absolutely. My intent was actually to get to that early by getting it out today, and I didn't get to that, so you'll have it by first thing in the morning.
Awesome. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay. That concludes the open portion of our meeting, and we now adjourn to closed session.
Shore cleanup on Saturday.
This Sunday, and then 21st.